Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney. If you're new here, I teach travel tips and travel hacking, all so that you can travel more for less. Today I wanted to do a little travel Q&A and answer some fun questions so you guys can get to know me a little bit better and kind of learn about some of my fun travel stories and my travel preferences. So I asked on my Instagram for you guys to ask some travel related questions to get to know me and my travels better. So thank you so much for the few of you that did submit questions. If you're not following me on Instagram, please do. It's at Court's Little Life. I post again travel hacking videos and I'd love to have your support over there too. First question. How old were you when you took your first trip and where did you go? It's a good question. So I did travel a lot as a kid, but only like in the United States. My parents loved taking me on vacation. And because my two sisters are so much older than me, I kind of grew up as an only child. And so I always got to bring a friend along on the trip. So that was really fun. Two of the places we went the most was Six Flags, either St. Louis or Chicago, and Wisconsin Dells. So I grew up in the Midwest, and those were like easy, drivable destinations. I probably went to Wisconsin Dells twice a year for like 8 years in a row, and I love that place, and I have so many good memories. But then my first overseas trip did not happen until I was 23 years old. That's truthfully when my life changed. I went on my first overseas trip to Rome, fell in love, and I've absolutely had the travel bug ever since. What is one thing you pack no matter the trip? Ooh, that's a good question. I've said this before in a video, but my CalPack toiletries bag is an absolute game changer. It is like the Mary Poppins bag. I don't know how I can fit so much stuff in it. That and my portable charger, because I'm always on my phone or using my camera, and so it's never holding a charge. Those are more practical items though. Something fun. Ooh, I always bring Jolly Ranchers because if I'm hangry and I'm not, like if I'm on a long plane ride and I can't get a snack, or if I'm on a long train ride and I can't get a snack, if there's like a few hours before dinner, so I don't want to eat something so that I'm still hungry at dinner, I'll pop a Jolly Rancher in and it calms me down. What is my favorite destination I've traveled to so far? It has to be Italy. I'm so biased because, like I said, it was my first trip. So, like, I just think it really does have such a special place in my heart. I love Rome so much. I got to spend 2 weeks in Florence, and that was absolutely incredible. There's just nothing like the Italian culture, the food, the wine, the people, the history. Like I absolutely love that place and I will continue to go back to Italy any chance I can. What is the most adventurous thing I've done on my travels? Okay, so we took a trip to Amman, Jordan. We stayed there for a few days and then we rented a car and we drove to the Wadi Rum desert and we camped there for a night and we ended up meeting a tour guide that offered to take us on a hike, and we weren't really planning on doing a hike. Like I literally was wearing a dress, but we were like, I mean, we don't, what are we going to do, just like roam the desert on our own? So we were like, sure, like take us on a guided hike. And he was like, it's only like an hour, like it shouldn't be too much. And it ended up being the most intense hike that I have ever been on in my entire life. Like, I'm not kidding you. I was like having heart palpitations the whole time. It was so scary. Definitely the most adventurous because we were practically free climbing in the Wadi Rum desert and I was in a dress. Thank goodness I had like little cute sneakers on. I will insert actually a clip of it because it was just one of those things like you had to be there. Like our mindset was just like, yeah, like let's just go on a little hike. And then it ended up being like where our tour guide was having to like grab our hand and like pull us up and tell us, like, okay, put one hand here and then your foot here and then push yourself up. And then at the very top of the hike, there's this little arch and it's called the Berta Bridge. And it's like connecting kind of two big mountains. So it's like this thin rock formation that was formed that then connected these two separate mountains, yet it's only, I don't know, 200 yards long maybe. And he asked if we wanted to walk up there. Jared was much more hesitant, but I definitely wanted to. So he took my hand and we crossed the bridge together, and it was so windy. Like, one, I don't know how it was legal or regulated. It probably wasn't. Scariest thing, but probably like the coolest experience to tell and to like look back and remember. Yeah, it was quite adventurous. Have you ever experienced a travel mishap? How did you handle it? Yes, so many, but the first one that comes to mind is when we were in Switzerland. And I feel like I've told this story before somewhere on the internet. Um, so we were in Switzerland and we were both super, super sick, but we had to go, we were supposed to go to Italy. We were supposed to take a train to go to Italy. And we ended up missing our train and we had to reschedule it. And I remember being at the train station and like sitting on the ground. Like I had a fever. I had never had like a cold like this. Like I was so sick. I was like fever, chills, coughing, sneezing. This was like pre-COVID. No, was it? No, it was post COVID. This was post COVID. So like I had no choice. Like we literally could not stay in Switzerland. We had no bookings. It was the day after Christmas. We could not extend our stay. And I felt like everyone was staring at me because I was like hacking everywhere. But I had my mask on and I tried to be as like safe distance as I could. Anyways, we missed our train. We're waiting for the next train. And apparently, a lot of people had missed that train because there were so many people waiting for this upcoming train to come. So we go to get in line and we're like waiting outside to board the train. And there's like just this like swarm of people. And they like holler like down the train, like where the first class cart is. And they're like, you can board down here. So people start like running down there and like I don't know how, but we just like happened to kind of like lead the pack. So we got on, and you know how trains have like those steps where you like kind of step in the little holding area before you actually go in the cart? Jared and myself got on there, and then there was one other lady, and then the doors closed. And we were like, that's weird. So we like pushed the button to open the doors because there was still at least like 15 people trying to get on the train. And then the train just left. Like it just like went. And we were like, what? Like these people are like running, trying to chase this train down. And I mean, I guess those Switzerland trains, like they're on time. Like if you don't board in that allotted like 5 minutes that it stopped there, you're not getting on the train. So we have our tickets. We go to our seat. Our seat is taken, and the people sitting in our seat also had the same ticket number. So it must have just been like overbooked. Everything's so hazy to me because I feel like I'm dying. I'm so sick. The train that we took was Switzerland to Milan. So it was about 3 hours. The entire train was booked. There was nowhere to sit. So we ended up sitting in between carts in that doorway where you board the train, where the steps are. We sat on the steps with our luggage for 3.5 hours. It was probably the most miserable I've ever felt. We were supposed to get off in Milan and then rent a car and drive to Baviano, Italy, and we ended up canceling all of that because of how sick we were. We got a last minute hotel in Milan and I stayed there for 2 nights. I had an on-call doctor come to the hotel to help, I guess. I just was like, what can I do? I don't like I've never like I literally feel like I'm going to die. But I think when you travel, you realize that when you go to a new country, you can catch a new virus that your body like hasn't seen or reacted to before. So you can just get a lot sicker, I guess, more easily. Doctor gave me some meds. I was good in a few days, but that was definitely a travel mishap. What is my favorite type of cuisine that I've tried abroad? My easy answer could be Italian food, pasta, of course. But I'll try to give you a different one because I'm like obsessed with Italy and I will try to venture out for the good of the video. We tried shawarma when we were in Jordan and that was fantastic. I'd never had anything like it. We found this shawarma stand on the side of the road that they were like cutting the chicken off these like big like cookers almost. They'd wrap it in this like pita style bread, with tomatoes and onions and cucumbers and this like white sauce. It was amazing. Like, still to this day, I've never had anything like it. And then I will also mention Greek food. When we went to Greece, the food there was just absolutely incredible. What is my favorite mode of transportation when traveling? Long distance, probably a plane. I have been blessed with the ability to sleep on any flight. I don't know how, but like I can always make myself really comfortable and pretty much sleep an entire duration of a flight. So I don't mind long distance flights. I would also say I really like to take trains, especially when we're in Europe. They're so easy and they're so like beautiful, like the scenery. It's just like crazy that you're like taking this train and it feels like a trip on its own because you're like getting just to see like the countryside, or just like you're driving through these little towns where like these people like live their whole lives, yet you're just like passing through, and it's just beautiful. We did the Caledonian Sleeper Train, which is an overnight train, and that was a really cool experience. We took it from Inverness all the way to London. So when we boarded the train, it was like 9 p.m. and then the train was like 10 or 11 hours. So we just woke up in London. We had bunk beds. Like, that was a really cool way to travel, just because it was like the best of both worlds. We got a good night's sleep because we had a full bed, but yet we also got to our next destination. But I'd have to say either planes or trains, not automobiles. What is my top travel tip for beginners? Oh, probably, I guess if we're thinking in the sense of points and miles, it would be to transfer your points to airline partners. So instead of using your points on a Delta flight, transfer them to Air France or KLM. Or instead of redeeming your points for a United flight, do a British Airways flight, because you can just get so much more for your points. I would also say once you get the travel bug, especially the travel hacking bug, don't go crazy on getting a bunch of credit cards. Only spend what you can to hit a sign up bonus. Then, like, more just like on the traveling side, don't plan your trip out to a T. Don't overpack your days. Don't stuff your itinerary. Something is bound to go wrong, and you don't want to let that ruin your trip. Be flexible. Just enjoy the fact that you're on vacation. Try to let yourself relax, let yourself breathe. I understand that being in a new place, you want to do and see everything, but Italy is not going anywhere, Europe's not going anywhere. So just try to take it slow and enjoy every moment. What is my secret to packing effectively? Definitely packing cubes. I think that they are a game changer. I was not a believer for so long, but they really do help me stay organized. I made a whole video on packing tips and how to pack in a carry-on, so I'll link that below if you're interested in kind of more of my packing philosophy. But I really do think you should try every piece of clothing on before you pack it. If you don't like it at home, you are most certainly not going to like it on vacation. And of course, like I said, my CalPak toiletry bag. How do I stay healthy while traveling? I travel a lot for personal reasons, like vacation and trips, but I also travel a lot for work. So the hardest thing that I've had to learn is just because I'm not at home is not an excuse to treat myself. So for example, if I'm traveling for work, if I'm staying at a hotel, it's very typical that I would want to go get a drink at the hotel bar, and I'd want to go out for this nice dinner, like I do on vacation. But I have to remind myself, this isn't vacation. It's a Tuesday night, and just because I'm in a different location doesn't mean I don't need to still stick to my routine. So at home, I'm cooking all my meals. I try not to drink during the week. So I try to also emulate those practices when I'm out traveling. Now, of course, I can't really always make myself dinner, but I can, choose healthier options. I'm not perfect by any means. Like, I definitely don't always stick to that. But of course, I take advantage of working out when I can at hotel gyms, or if I'm traveling abroad, I definitely take advantage of walkable cities and getting my steps in. And it's just all about a good balance. What is the best souvenir I've brought home? I love this question because I've really struggled with what souvenirs do I bring home. I've tried postcards, I've tried magnets, and I just like can't really ever find anything that feels like authentic and useful and purposeful. So I am starting to junk journal. So I actually just collect like receipts and brochures and like the natural things I'm getting on my trip and keeping those and then like filling pages with them. Keep like my visa. I'll always keep some of the local currency. And then one of our traditions when we're traveling is getting a bottle of champagne. So I'll always make sure to keep the champagne cork as well. But I'm open to suggestions. If anyone has any good souvenir ideas, I just don't like a lot of like clutter. I just like don't want a box of magnets sitting around. So I just try to think of things I can like repurpose or maybe like make a nice piece of art with, something like that. Okay, the last question is, do I like revisiting places or exploring new ones? And I really like this question because I am such an advocate for revisiting places. I know that we all don't have unlimited PTO and the option to travel to a place for a second, let alone a third time. But if you do, I highly recommend revisiting a place because you get such a deeper understanding of it. You get to discover hidden gems. You get to go back to your favorite place. Like I said, I've been to Italy now for 3 times, and Rome is just as magical, if not more magical, each time I return. And I feel like I fall in love with the city more. It feels safe and familiar, and I feel like I can get out of my comfort zone more. And I feel like I can really slow down and not have to do everything in one day because I'm trusting that I will be back to this place. And instead, I relax and I enjoy it. All right, that is all of the questions. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. I hope you got to learn a little bit more about me and learn a little bit more about some of my travels. I personally really like filming videos like this. I like to watch videos like this, so it just feels natural. So if you have more questions or you want me to dive deeper into a different topic, please let me know in the comment section and I would love to do that. Thank you guys again for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video.